and see! Come and see! The shouting started before sunrise. Tunde ran outside barefoot. At the end of their street in Lagos, where potholes swallowed keke tires and generator coughed smoke, a building stood that had not been there the night before. White, tall, shining. People gathered, whispering prayers and fear in the same breath. A banner stretched across the gate, the sanctuary of new dawn. Then the first miracle happened. Mama Bisi, blind for 7 years, stepped forward with shaking hands. The pastor touched her forehead. She screamed, "I can see!" The crowd exploded. Grown men fell to their knees. Women cried. Phones lifted into the air. Tunde did not clap. He watched the pastor. The man's smile was calm, too calm. His suit did not wrinkle in the heat. His eyes did not blink when dust blew across his face. By evening, the church glowed brighter than the moon. Sick bodies entered. Dancing bodies came out. A crippled tailor left his crutches at the altar. A debtor shouted that his bank account was full. Hope spread faster than Harmattan fire. But when Tunde passed the gate again at night, he noticed something small. The pastor stood in the same spot. Same smile, same posture. Not tired, not sweating, waiting. For the first time, Tunde felt it. The street was no longer breathing the way it used to. It was listening. The shouting turned into dancing by the second week. White clothes flooded the streets, drums beating hard enough to shake window glass. Testimonies rolled out like thunder. My leg is strong. My shop doubled profits. My grey hair is gone. Tunde stood at the edge of the crowd, hearts racing. He saw it happen. Old Baba Kunle, who once bent like dry wood, stepped out of the church gate standing straight. His beard, once white as salt, now shone black. His voice carried power. Children stared at him as if he had returned from the grave. People screamed, "Power!" Phones flashed. Neighbors rushed forward, desperate. But Tunde did not shout. He counted. Sunday after Sunday, the same faces stood in front. Same smooth skin, same bright teeth, same sharp energy. No new wrinkles, no slower steps. Not one. Even under harsh sun, they did not sweat. Even during long services, they did not look tired. And something else. No one spoke of birthdays. No one mentioned funerals. That night, Tunde found an old photo online. The church had a website already. He zoomed in. The pastor's face from opening day. He looked outside through his window. The pastor stood under the street light, greeting members. Same face, same smile. Exactly the same. A cold weight settled into Tunde's chest, but the silence around time was louder. The pain left in one night. Tunde woke to singing in the kitchen, not the slow, tired humming he knew. Real singing, strong, bright. He rushed out. His mother stood by the stove without her walking stick. No limp, no groaning. She moved like someone 20 years younger. Her back was straight. Her hands did not shake. "I went for prayers," she said, smiling wide. "The pastor laid hands on me." Tunde stared. Her face looked different. The deep lines around her mouth had softened. The grey at her edges had faded. Even her eyes seemed lighter. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Free," she whispered. That afternoon, she walked to the market alone. Neighbors gasped when they saw her stride. Women touched her arms, asking questions. She laughed like a girl who had never known sorrow. That night, she called him by his name. The next morning, she paused. "Remind me," she said gently. "Where did you say you walk again?" Tunde frowned. "You know this." She smiled, embarrassed. 2 days later, she stared at an old framed photo. "Who is this man?" "Dad," Tunde said slowly. Her forehead tightened. "I was married." The room went cold. On Sunday, she wore white and returned to the going church. When she came back, she hugged him warmly. "Good evening, young man." The word cut deeper than any knife. The healing was working, but it was taking something with it. Tunde pushed through the crowd and stepped inside the church. Music crashed against the walls. White light spun overhead. People swayed with closed eyes. At the altar, the pastor stood still, hands raised, smile calm and unshaken. Tunde walked straight to him. "You healed my mother," he said, voice sharp. "What did you take from her?" The pastor lowered his hands slowly and removed her pain. His voice was soft, smooth, almost gentle. "She forgot my father." Tunde fired back. "She forgot me." A quiet ripple passed through nearby members. Some stared, others looked away. The pastor's eyes met Tunde's. They did not blink. "Pain lives inside memory," he said. "When pain lives, so memories must follow." Tunde's chest tightened. That night, Tunde searched online again. Old newspaper archives, faded church flyers. He found a photograph from 25 years ago. Different church name, different city. Same face, same perfect smile. Tunde's hands trembled. The pastor had not changed. Not one line, not one wrinkle, not one blink. Outside, church members sang louder than before. Inside, Tunde understood something terrible. This was not healing. It was exchange. A scream split the night. Tunde rushed outside. It was Sister Amaka's voice. She stood in front of her gate, shaking, pointing at the church. "My brother is missing," she cried. "He went for prayer. He never came home." Neighbors gathered fast. Some whispered. Some warned her to stay quiet. The church light burned bright as always. The pastor stepped out calmly. "Fear is the enemy of faith," he said. But Tunde was already moving. He circled to the back of the church compound, where the fence met a narrow gutter. A small side door stood slightly open. Music echoed faintly from inside, but no service was happening. He slipped in. The air felt heavy, cold. He followed a low humming sound toward the smaller prayer room. Candles lined the walls. White robes hung neatly like empty skins. Then he froze. A young man knelt at the altar, glowing with strange strength. Smooth face, clear skin, calm smile. Tunde's stomach dropped. The birthmark on the man's neck, shaped like a crescent, was the same as Sister Amaka's missing brother. "Brother Chinedu," Tunde whispered. The young man turned slowly. "I have no brother," he replied gently. "I was just reborn." His eyes looked peaceful, empty. Footsteps echoed behind Tunde. The pastor's voice floated through the room. "Names carrying pain. We remove pain here." Tunde backed away, hearts pounding like war drums. People were not disappearing. They were being erased and rewritten. Tunde ran through the back streets, rain pounding like war drums. His mother had gone back inside the church, smiling brighter than ever, but empty. He could not let her vanish entirely. He found Baba Afolabi in a dark alley, cutting leaves with hands that shook like dry branches. "You've seen too much, boy," the old man said, eyes sharp. "This church, it drinks what makes people human." "What do you mean?" Tunde demanded, fist tight. "The river," Baba whispered. "The river that once ran beneath this land. It was sacred. It gave life, not youth. But they trapped it. They twisted it. They sell time in bottles of prayer, washing away memory." Tunde's heart hammered. "So, the miracles, they are lies, they are bargains," Baba said. "The pastors calls them healing. But the river feeds on memory, on the life stored in people's hearts. Every smile, every step forward, they steal it. And each person who joins leaves behind pieces of themselves." Lightning split the sky. The streets glowed unnaturally from the church lights. Tunde glimpsed his mother through the window laughing, dancing, untouched by years. Baba handed him a small jar of mud-stained water. "If you dare, you can trace it. Follow the river beneath the altar. See where they hide the stolen years. But beware, some truths take more than courage. They take you." Tunde gritted his teeth. The church paused like a living thing. He ran toward it. This night, the river would reveal its secrets, and Tunde's life would never be the same again. Tunde barged through the crowd, his chest heavy. His mother danced at the front, radiant, untouched by years. But her eyes were hollow, empty as a drained riverbed. "Mom," he shouted, grabbing her arm. She smiled, soft and distant. "Young man, what troubles you?" "My name, Mother. Do you remember me?" She tilted her head, confusion flickering. "Your name? It's unfamiliar. Do you live nearby?" Tunde's stomach churned. Memories of his childhood, her cooking, her lullabies, all stolen. Every laugh they had shared, gone. He clenched his fist. "Do you remember your husband?" "My father." A shadow crossed her face. She shook her head slowly. I do not recall." Panic roared inside him. Around them, the church pulsed with lights, and members moved in perfect rhythm. Voice raised in unison, not a wrinkle, not a scar, not a hint of age. "Mom, listen to me." Tunde yelled. "They are taking pieces of who you are." Her smile flattered for a heartbeat, then returned. "I feel light, young, happy." Tunde realized the truth. The church had not restored her. They had hollowed her, stolen the depths of her soul, leaving only a mask of youth. Tunde grabbed her hand. He had a choice. Fight the impossible bargain to bring her back, or watch her remain beautiful but forever lost. Her laugh echoed in his ears, and it was no longer his mother's. The street buzzed with whispers. Windows rattled under the church's pulsing lights. No one slept. No one dared speak of the vanished. Only prayers and laughter floated through the night air. Tunde moved fast, heart pounding, like drum in war. He carried a notebook, old photos, and the jar of river water from Baba Afolabi. Every clue he gathered painted the same terrifying picture. The church did not heal. It rewrote lives, stole memories, traded soul for youth. He knocked on doors. Some neighbors hid. Some whispered, "They are blessed. Don't anger them." Fear had gripped the streets tighter than chains. The pastor's smile had not changed for decades. Choir members glowed. The same old woman who joined 3 years ago now looked 30. No one aged. A scream split the night. Another person had disappeared. So they ran toward the church and saw a young girl standing where her elder sister had once been. Same face, Same eyes, but different. Blank. The church doors opened wide, music spilling out like water from a broken dam. Members sang, untouched by time, untouched by pain. Tunde gritted his teeth. He scribbled furiously in his notebook. The street had changed. The air itself felt heavier, watching, waiting. He realized the horrifying truth. Every 30 years, a church like this appeared, feeding on doubt and fear. And if he did nothing, his streets would never rest again. The church thrummed like a living heart. Tunde burst through the doors, clutching the jar of river water. The pastor stepped forward, calm as ever. You've come to understand. Boy, every miracle has a price. Tunde's voice shook. They are not miracles. You take everything that makes them human. The pastor's eyes glittered. Faith demands sacrifice. Youth cannot bloom without pain being shed. Tunde looked around. He saw the missing, rewritten and perfect, blank as statues. This ends tonight, Tunde shouted. He smashed the jar on the altar. Muddy water spilled, revealing a hidden trapdoor. Beneath it, a dark river paused, black as midnight, carrying whispers of memories, screams and laughter from decades past. The pastor's calm vanished. His form shivered. For the first time, Tunde saw cracked in his perfect face. Time itself was bleeding black. The church trembled, was cracked. Lights flickered. Tunde stood, chest bony, hands raw. Behind him, his mother reached for him, face glowing with youth, but empty, hollow. Mom! Mom! He yelled, grabbing her arm. Her smile flattered. For the first time, fear touched her face. The river beneath the altar roared like a beast. Stolen memories screamed in echoes. Faces of the rewritten twisted and contorted, trapped between perfection and truth. Tunde shouted, "Take me! I will trade. Let them go." A blast of light hit the church. Time surged backward. Youth drained violently from glowing members. Faces snapping into wrinkles, eyes widening in shock. The pastor screamed, voice cracking like shattering glass. His perfect smile fell apart, skin folding, hair graying, decades falling into seconds. The altar shattered. The river collapsed into nothingness. Tunde's mother stumbled, clutching her head. Pain returned. Tears fell. She looked at him, fragile, trembling. "Your name," she whispered. "Tunde." Tunde hugged her. Memories returned. Lullabies, birthdays, laughter, sorrow, all at once. She was his mother again. Old, but alive. Outside, the street gasped in silence. The church stood abandoned, cracked and blackened, no longer breathing. And yet, Tunde felt in the shadows the pulse of greed, waiting for another night, another street. He shook his head. Faith, he realized, could heal. But unchecked, it could steal the very essence of life. The sun rose over Lagos, and the streets finally breathed again. I am the ready writer, and every story hides a truth.